So earlier this month, a Texas pastor by the name of Rick Scarborough had been recorded talking to E.W. Jackson, who is, of course, a right-wing pastor. Now, this was earlier this month. It was June 16th. And during this call, he promised to light himself on fire if the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage. Let's listen to a snippet of that.
These folks send in their activists with their lawyers when they find there's a Christian who's principled and not willing to participate in any kind of sanctioning of same-sex marriage, and they sue them until they go into bankruptcy. In fact, the New Mexico Supreme Court, in ruling on the case there, said that participating in the sanction of same-sex marriage was the, quote, price of citizenship in the United States. So we know what's coming, and we're simply being preemptive and saying, no matter what the cost, we understand and we weigh the cost. We are not going to bow, we're not going to bend, and if necessary, we will burn.
We're not going to bow, we're not going to bend, and if necessary, we'll burn. Well, that seems pretty clear on his intentions on that. But now that gay marriage is the law of the land, Scarborough had a sudden need to clarify these remarks. Now, he issued a statement to KFYO News a couple of hours after the monumental Supreme Court decision legalizing same-sex marriage across the nation. Now, he said, basically, quote, I made that comment to paraphrase a spiritual song. Oh, did he? Interesting. Now, this song was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in which the three were given a supposed choice: to bow before the image of Nebuchadnezzar, or burn in a furnace. Now, Scarborough said, "We will burn" means that we will not accept, or that we will accept any sanction from the government for resisting Friday's Supreme Court decision. We do not support any violence or physical harm. Well, how convenient of you! How convenient! Now that it actually came to pass, you're like, oh, no, I didn't mean that. I set myself on fire. What are you talking about? No, of course not. No, of course not. No. It's a spiritual song. That's all it was. It's a spiritual song. No. Very interesting. Now, to kind of contrast this and his absolute cowardness to go into it, and I'm not saying that I wanted him to do it or anything, but if he was a man of his word, well, then he would have done it. Now, when we go to men of their word, this just happened to, when he made these remarks, it happened to have been the 1-year anniversary of someone who actually did set themselves on fire for their own cause. And I remember reporting on this last year. It was just over a year ago that 79-year-old Charles Moore, who was a retired United Methodist minister, actually did immolate himself for a cause. And for this, I go back to the Washington Post, written, of course, on one of the days afterward that it had happened. It says the Tyler Morning Telegraph had obtained the copy of the suicide note from Grand Saline police. In it, Moore lamented that past racism in Grand Saline and beyond. So this man, who had set himself on fire and died from his injuries, did so because of the issue of racism. But not just that. He said he called on the community to repent and said that he was giving his body to be burned with love in his heart, for those who were lynched in his hometown as well as for those who did the lynching. Now, he had hoped to address lingering racism. Now, in his letters that were obtained by the Washington Post, he called his death an act of protest. He said that he felt that after a lifetime of fighting for social justice, he wanted to do more. He needed to do more. Now, I remember reading this quote back last year, and it still gets to me this year. It still gets to me now even when I read it. He says, I would much prefer to go on living and enjoy my beloved wife and grandchildren and others. But I have come to believe that only my self-immolation will get the attention of anybody and perhaps inspire someone to higher service. That's rough. Now, it also notes that he seemed particularly disturbed by the issues of capital punishment, racial discrimination, and prejudice against the LGBT community. Prejudice that people like Rick Scarborough and E.W. Jackson continue to perpetuate, especially now after the landmark ruling that actually gives people the right to be able to get married. And this guy has the balls, the stones, to go and actually promise to do it 1 year after the death of someone who actually did it for a real cause. You know what this tells me? It tells me that Rick Scarborough doesn't believe in his own message. Somebody who really believes in their own message, for example, like Roy Moore, is someone that's willing to die for his message. Rick Scarborough does not believe in his message. He did not believe in what he was saying. And I'm just speculating, but I really believe that he doesn't buy his own bullshit. It's hateful rhetoric, and when it's actually put to the test, he backpedals. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in my cause. I'm going to say that I believe in my cause, and I'm going to get rich off of it. I'm going to get fame off of this. I'm going to get noticed. I'm going to appeal to the bigots. I'm going to appeal to the people who are scared of other people that have civil rights, who think that somebody else getting civil rights will somehow lead to the erosion of their own. So I'm going to appeal to that, and I'm going to profit off it. I'm going to get fat off it. I'm pretty sure he gets a pretty loyal following that's willing to do whatever he says. So of course he's not going to put himself on fire, because he doesn't believe in his own shit. He doesn't believe in his own message. But Roy Moore believed in his message so much that he gave his life for it. A message of actual justice, of actual truth, of actually trying to do something for the community, to send a message. And it's sad that Rick Scarborough made this claim on the anniversary of this pastor's death. And I think that it's a slap in the face of everything Moore fought for. Everything.